So recently I started posting on TikTok, and what I've noticed about TikTok is some of the takes on that motherfucker are fucking atrocious, my nigga. It's where the Chris Paul and Kyrie Irving debate started. It's where We Done With the 90s started. It's where the Kobe Bryant disrespect started. Every shitty sports take can almost trace back to TikTok, my nigga. And personally, I use TikTok on a daily basis. I love scrolling through that shit instead of working. And slowly but surely, everyone's developing some TikTok ball knowledge, my nigga. Absolute peanut brain fuckery is going on that app when it comes to sports takes, my nigga. Anybody has a voice nowadays because 33% of America has TikTok. And recently, I've been screenshotting some of my comments. Now, I ain't gonna put any nigga on blast. I'll blur out the name and everything. But I just want to show y'all how far TikTok ball knowledge is really fucking going. But my name is Zaza Sports. Welcome to the channel. Like, subscribe, put a comment down below, and let's get into this fuckery. And the first comment was on the part 1 of TikTok ball knowledge is going too far. Curry is better than Kobe. No debate. Now I respond with, if you got Curry over Kobe, that's perfectly fine. I understand why. They're very close all the time. Curry, I think, is personally the better offensive player. When it comes to efficiency, when it comes to scoring, when it comes to revolutionizing the offensive game, Stephen Wardell Curry might be the greatest offensive player of all time. But to say no debate, my nigga, that smells like shit. Because Kobe Bean Bryant is one of the 10 greatest scorers of all time. He has 2 finals MVP, something Curry doesn't have. He's one of the greatest defensive guards of all time. He has the most all-defensive teams out of any guard ever. And he has the 3rd most all-defensive teams in NBA history, my nigga. And combine that with his offensive scoring, combine that with he has more rings. There is a debate that Kobe Bryant is better than Stephen Curry. It's not just point blank period. Curry is better, my nigga. I think this says more about us and how we see our favorite players, really. Because yes, it's a valid opinion to think Steph Curry is better than Kobe Bryant. Because I see a lot of times when somebody has a favorite player, LeBron James or Stephen Curry, and they're ranked a little lower than they should be, or Curry's not in the top 10. Even Kobe Bryant, if he's not in the top 10, some people will throw a fucking fit, my nigga. But realistically, except for LeBron, he's top 2 point blank period. Curry and Kobe being outside of the top 10 isn't too crazy. Hey, don't hate, nigga, don't hate. Because if you can come up with reasons 10 players are better than Curry and Kobe Bryant, which you possibly could. Me personally, I have them in my top 10. But if you had them like 11 or 12, that's not fucking crazy, my nigga. Because the top 10 players is really just split in fucking hairs if we're being completely honest with ourselves. It just says a lot about how we view our favorite players and how with our favorite players, we are more subjective than objective with them. But Curry being better than Kobe, no debate. That's a little fucking crazy. I start off light. Let's get into the real fuck shit. This nigga said, give me Larry Fitzgerald over Jerry Rice. Man, I can't even explain this one. Jerry Rice had the better peak. He had the better peak seasons. He was the better playoff performer, even though it's actually really close in that aspect. He had more receiving yards, receptions, receiving touchdowns. He averaged more yards per game. He had more 1,000-yard seasons. He made more first-team All-Pros. Hell, Jerry Rice has the most first-team All-Pros in NFL history out of 11, my nigga. Jerry Rice in his age 40 season put up 1,000 yards. Back-to-back, by the way. Jerry Rice caught 22 touchdowns in 12 games, something Larry Fitzgerald has never came close to doing. And while, yes, I'll hear the argument Larry Fitzgerald has better hands than Jerry Rice, but every other aspect of the game, Jerry Rice clears him. Personally, I have Larry Fitzgerald in my top 5, but comparing any wide receiver to Jerry Rice is insane. Simply put, people say Jerry Rice only has the longevity. That's what makes him the greatest receiver of all time. But I am telling you guys, Jerry Rice has the greatest peak out of any wide receiver in NFL history, and he has the greatest longevity out of any receiver in NFL history. That includes Calvin Johnson, that includes Antonio Brown, that includes Terrell Owens, and that includes Randy Moss. Jerry Rice just did it better for a longer time and peaked higher. And not to mention, Larry Fitzgerald was really only named the best wide receiver in the league one time. Fitzgerald has 121 touchdowns. Rice almost has 100 more touchdowns than this nigga. And you could say, oh my gosh, Jerry Rice played longer. He played 4 more seasons longer. Unless you think Larry Fitzgerald for the last 4 years of his career would have got 20 touchdowns per game, he was not touching Jerry Rice. There's no receiver better than Jerry Rice. Larry Fitzgerald is not in the same category as Jerry Rice. It's not a fucking debate. This take is actually stupid. And in this TikTok, I said Joe Montana is the greatest playoff performer of all time. And the top comment was, Tom Brady was just never born, I guess. If you think Tom Brady is the better playoff performer, you got it. Because longevity-wise, it's really not a debate. Tom Brady for the playoffs in a 20-plus year career, he was playing lights out almost every time. Even though there's some games he did get lucky. 2018 AFC Championship and the Tuck Rule. And multiple games where he threw more interceptions and touchdowns and still found a way to win. But my argument was, on a per-throw basis, Joe Montana is the greatest playoff performer performer of all time. He had 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and then went to the Super Bowl and threw for 5 more touchdowns. And not to mention, he had an average passer rating of 95, and he threw 45 touchdowns to only 21 interceptions in his playoff career. He won 4 Super Bowls. He was more efficient than Tom Brady and had a better touchdown to interception ratio, and he played in the 1980s. Now, instead of this nigga hitting me with the argument that Tom Brady played longer and his stats are just more impressive, this nigga says Montana threw to Dwight Clark and Jerry Rice. My nigga, I hate the fucking weapons argument that this new generation has started. It's my generation that started this shit. But this time it makes no fucking sense, my nigga. Tom Brady had less weapons than Joe Montana. Is that what he was insinuating? The dude's he named was Dwight Clark and Jerry Rice. Dwight Clark has 6,000 yards in his career. He went on to say, Dwight Clark is a better playoff performer than Julian Edelman, the dude that has the 3rd most receiving yards in playoff history. But anywho, I don't even think I need to make an argument for this because I commented to him. I said, it doesn't make sense comparing weapons. They both had great weapons. Arguably, Tom Brady has way better weapons, which he did. But anywho, here's my argument. Rob Gronkowski, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Randy Moss, Danny Amendola, top 10 defense every year he went to the Super Bowl, greatest defensive-minded coach in NFL history, and Tom Brady threw to 3 Hall of Famers in Randy Moss, Wes Welker, who I believe will get in, and Rob Gronkowski. Like, I'm not saying Joe Montana had no weapons, but you're absolutely fucking stupid if you think Tom Brady's the better playoff performer because Joe Montana threw to Dwight Clark and Jerry Rice. That just doesn't add up. Silly debate. Honestly, silly debate. The next comment I got on TikTok is, Jalen Hurts is literally not top 12 for anyone who watches film. He's not an accurate passer. The Eagles are very good, sure. They would have 3 or 4 Super Bowls in a row now if Hurts was top 12. Stop watching stats and watch film, my children. Hurts has 20 touchdowns in the playoffs. He has put up better numbers for his first 5 playoff performances than Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and Peyton Manning, at least equivalent to their numbers. And regardless of if you look at film or not, if you look at what Jalen Hurts has done and say he hasn't elevated his team, what has those legends I just named done in their first years? And he's had one of the greatest Super Bowl performances of all time when he first played the Chiefs. He placed 2nd in MVP and got an All-Pro nod. And then this Super Bowl, he won it and won Super Bowl MVP. Now, Tom Brady had an elite supporting cast through those Super Bowls. Peyton Manning had elite supporting cast through his first 5 playoff appearances. So did Joe Montana. So if we take that argument away, Jalen Hurts in the playoffs is playing at absolute historic rate. You can say anybody else can be Jalen Hurts in the Eagles system, but nobody else is. We could say this about any team in NFL history. Anyone could have played great with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Anyone could have played great with Bill Belichick's defense. Anyone could add Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis on defense, and Reggie Wayne. Like, that doesn't make sense. And Jalen Hurts is playing at a historic rate in the playoffs. He shows up anytime you need him. Something a bunch of quarterbacks nowadays just don't do. He's doing unprecedented things that we don't see from other legends that have just as good of a supporting cast. And yet he's barely top 10. Putting up historic numbers in the playoffs, but he's not top 10. That's silly to me. And in this next one, this guy says, in Montana's first Super Bowl, he didn't do shit. He says, throughout all playoffs, Tom Brady has always been better. He's saying every season than Joe Montana in the playoffs. Joe Montana couldn't do what Tom Brady did against Atlanta Falcons. He also posted a screenshot showing Joe Montana's first Super Bowl, where he went 14 of 22, 157 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, to go along with 1 rushing touchdown. While this might not seem dumb, remember, this dude's arguing for Thomas Edward Brady as being a better playoff performer and saying Joe Montana didn't do shit in his first Super Bowl. So tell me why the fuck we are saying Joe Montana didn't do shit in his first Super Bowl, so Brady's a better playoff performer, when in Tom Brady's first playoffs, this dude had a 77 passer rating, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, my nigga. Make that make sense. If Joe Montana didn't do shit in his first Super Bowl and he had 2 touchdowns and went 14 for 22, what the fuck did Tom Brady do in his first playoff season when he played 3 games and had 1 fucking touchdown? Like, make it make sense. Like, this TikTok ball knowledge shit is going too far. Like, I literally have to post a TikTok and then not look at the comments because that shit is fucking crazy, my nigga. This is the last one. I just want to give off a hot take for me. I guess it's a hot take all of a sudden. This dude says, how is Russell Wilson better than Matthew Stafford? Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl just like Matthew Stafford. Russell Wilson has played 4 less years and has 25 less passing touchdowns than Matthew Stafford. Russell Wilson was voted the 2nd best player in the NFL one year. Russell Wilson had a streak of 4 fucking years of throwing 30 plus passing touchdowns. In 1 year, he threw 40 passing touchdowns. He has one of the greatest deep balls of all time. If you look at any extended stat for Matthew Stafford, he doesn't come close to these stats. The production Russell Wilson put up in his prime is something Matthew Stafford never ever touched. And being a consensus top 3 quarterback in the league for a 5-year stretch, never getting an MVP vote, but always being considered in the MVP conversation, that just puts you farther up all time than Matthew Stafford. That's going to be the end of this video. This might be a little short today. This is Oz Sports. Like, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch y'all boys later. Peace.